Picture this. You walk into a dealership, checkbook in hand, ready to embrace the electric future. The salesperson's smile gleams as bright as the polished hood of that sleek EV sitting in the showroom. But what if I told you that shiny exterior might be hiding a nightmare of broken promises, faulty engineering, and corporate deception that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars and months of frustration? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the dark side of the electric vehicle revolution. While the EV market has exploded with promise and innovation, it's also become a hunting ground for opportunistic companies more interested in your wallet than your driving experience. From startups that vanished overnight with investor money to established brands cutting dangerous corners, some EV manufacturers have turned what should be the future of transportation into a consumer minefield. I'm your host at Car Curator, and over the next several minutes, we're going to expose the EV makers that have left customers stranded, investors betrayed, and the entire industry's reputation tarnished. These aren't just minor hiccups or growing pains. These are fundamental failures that should serve as red flags for any potential EV buyer. Let's start with one of the most dramatic cautionary tales in recent EV history: Fisker. Henrik Fisker's company seemed poised for greatness when it went public via SPAC merger in 2020, promising revolutionary ocean SUVs with innovative features like California Mode, where all windows, including the rear windshield, could roll down simultaneously. The warning signs were there from the beginning, but they were masked by slick marketing and ambitious promises. Fisker positioned itself as a design-forward company that would outsource manufacturing to established players like Magna Steyr. This asset-light approach seemed smart on paper, but it created a fundamental disconnect between the company and its actual production capabilities. The Ocean SUV, when it finally reached customers in 2023, was plagued with software issues that rendered basic functions unreliable. Customers reported doors that wouldn't unlock, infotainment systems that crashed repeatedly, and over-the-air updates that sometimes made problems worse rather than better. The company's customer service was overwhelmed and largely unresponsive, leaving buyers feeling abandoned. But the real shock came in June 2024, when Fisker filed for bankruptcy protection after burning through over $1 billion in funding. Customers who had received their vehicles found themselves owning cars from a defunct company, with uncertain warranty support and no clear path for software updates or parts availability. Those still waiting for deliveries saw their deposits evaporate overnight. The Fisker collapse revealed a critical truth about the EV startup landscape. Flashy presentations and celebrity endorsements mean nothing without solid engineering fundamentals and sustainable business practices. Henrik Fisker's previous company, Fisker Automotive, had also failed spectacularly in 2013, making this a pattern rather than an isolated incident. Canoo represented everything exciting and terrifying about EV startups rolled into one company. Founded in 2017, Canoo initially focused on subscription-based mobility services using their distinctive skateboard platform that could accommodate various body styles. Their vehicles looked like something from a science fiction movie, with minimalist interiors and maximized space efficiency. The company went public through a SPAC merger in 2020, raising hundreds of millions of dollars from investors attracted to their innovative approach and partnerships with companies like Hyundai. Canoo promised to revolutionize not just electric vehicles, but the entire concept of vehicle ownership. However, behind the futuristic facade, Canoo was struggling with basic execution. The company went through multiple CEOs, pivoted its business model several times, and consistently missed production targets. Internal reports suggested that their manufacturing timeline was wildly optimistic and that fundamental engineering challenges remained unresolved. By 2023, Canoo was facing severe financial difficulties, with mass layoffs and delayed payments to suppliers. The company had burned through most of its cash reserves while producing only a handful of vehicles for testing purposes. Investors who had been promised revolutionary transportation solutions instead watched their investments evaporate as the company struggled to build even basic prototypes. The Canoo story illustrates how easy it is for EV startups to raise massive amounts of money based on concepts and renderings, but how difficult it is to translate those visions into actual manufacturable vehicles. The gap between presentation and reality in the EV startup world can be measured in billions of dollars and thousands of disappointed stakeholders. Few EV startup failures have been as thoroughly documented and investigated as Lordstown Motors. The company, which took over a former General Motors plant in Ohio, claimed to have developed a revolutionary electric pickup truck called the Endurance, featuring hub-mounted motors that would provide superior capability and reliability. Lordstown's rise was meteoric, fueled by claims of having received over 100,000 pre-orders for the Endurance truck. The company's executives, led by CEO Steve Burns, made bold predictions about production timelines and market dominance. They positioned Lordstown as the American answer to Tesla's Cybertruck, with a focus on commercial and fleet customers. However, investigative reporting revealed that many of these pre-orders were not legitimate purchase commitments. Some were from companies that had no intention or capability to actually buy the vehicles. Others were conditional expressions of interest that Lordstown had misrepresented as firm orders. The company's own internal documents, later revealed through legal proceedings, showed executives were aware that their order book was largely fictional. The situation deteriorated rapidly when Lordstown's prototype truck caught fire during testing, raising serious questions about the safety and reliability of their hub motor design. Independent analysis suggested that the company's claimed advantages were largely theoretical and that their technology was nowhere near ready for mass production. By 2023, Lordstown Motors had effectively collapsed, with most of its assets sold off and its executives facing legal challenges. The workers at the Ohio plant, who had hoped to build America's next great electric truck, instead found themselves unemployed and betrayed by yet another automotive false promise. The Lordstown saga demonstrates how regulatory oversight and media scrutiny, while important, often come too late to protect individual investors and workers from the consequences of corporate deception in the rapidly evolving EV market. Lucid Motors presents a more complex case study in EV disappointment. Unlike obvious failures like Fisker or Lordstown, Lucid actually produces vehicles, albeit in numbers far below their ambitious projections. The company's Air sedan is genuinely impressive from a technical standpoint, offering industry-leading range and luxury appointments that rival traditional premium manufacturers. However, Lucid's problems lie not in their engineering capabilities, but in their manufacturing execution and financial sustainability. The company has consistently fallen short of production targets, delivering only a fraction of the vehicles they promised to investors and customers. These shortfalls aren't minor adjustments. They represent fundamental miscalculations about the challenges of scaling automotive production. Lucid's manufacturing facility in Arizona, while state-of-the-art, has struggled with quality control issues and production bottlenecks. Customers who placed orders based on delivery timelines provided by the company found themselves waiting months or years longer than expected. The company's premium pricing strategy, while justified by the product's capabilities, has limited their addressable market and made achieving volume targets nearly impossible. More concerning for potential customers is Lucid's cash burn rate and long-term viability. Despite backing from Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, the company continues to lose substantial amounts of money on each vehicle produced. Their path to profitability remains unclear, raising questions about long-term warranty support and service network sustainability. While Lucid vehicles themselves are excellent, the company's operational challenges and uncertain financial future make them a risky choice for consumers who value reliability and peace of mind along with their luxury electric sedan. Rivian's initial public offering in November 2021 was one of the largest in automotive history, valuing the company at over $100 billion, despite having delivered fewer than 200 vehicles to customers. The electric truck and van manufacturer had secured a massive order from Amazon for delivery vehicles and generated significant consumer interest in their R1T pickup truck and R1S SUV. However, the transition from startup darling to actual automotive manufacturer has been brutal for Rivian. The company has faced persistent production issues, supply chain disruptions, and quality control problems that have prevented them from meeting delivery commitments. Early R1T customers reported various issues ranging from software glitches to mechanical problems that required multiple service visits. More troubling has been Rivian's handling of customer communications and expectations. The company has repeatedly revised delivery timelines, often with little advance notice to customers who had placed substantial deposits. Price increases for vehicles already on order created additional customer relations disasters, forcing the company to reverse course after significant backlash. Rivian's financial performance has been equally concerning. Despite their massive IPO valuation, the company has struggled to control costs and achieve sustainable production volumes. Their stock price has fallen dramatically from its initial highs, reflecting investor skepticism about the company's ability to execute on its ambitious plans. While Rivian continues to operate and deliver vehicles, their track record of over-promising and under-delivering, combined with significant operational challenges, raises serious questions about their reliability as a long-term automotive partner for consumers. No discussion of problematic EV manufacturers would be complete without addressing Nikola Corporation, whose founder, Trevor Milton, was ultimately convicted of fraud for misleading investors about the company's capabilities and technology. Nikola's promises were grand: revolutionary hydrogen fuel cell trucks that would transform long-haul transportation, along with the infrastructure to support them. The company claimed to have developed breakthrough technologies that would give their vehicles significant advantages over both traditional diesel trucks and battery electric alternatives. However, investigations revealed that many of Nikola's demonstrations were staged or misleading. A famous video showing their truck in motion was actually showing it rolling downhill with no power. Claims about breakthrough battery technology and revolutionary fuel cell efficiency were either exaggerated or entirely fabricated. The company's business model was also fundamentally flawed. Nikola promised to provide hydrogen fuel to customers at guaranteed prices, but they had no realistic plan for producing or distributing hydrogen at the volumes and costs they claimed. Their manufacturing timeline was based on technologies and partnerships that existed primarily in presentations rather than reality. While Nikola continues to exist in some form today, their credibility was permanently damaged by the revelation that their entire value proposition was built on false claims. Customers who believed in the hydrogen truck revolution found themselves betrayed by a company more interested in stock promotion than actual innovation. China's BYD presents a different type of concern for potential EV buyers. Unlike the startups that have dominated this discussion, BYD is an established, profitable company with significant production capacity and genuine technological capabilities. However, their rapid global expansion has raised serious questions about quality control and customer service standards. BYD vehicles sold in international markets have exhibited inconsistent build quality, with reports of paint defects, interior component failures, and software issues that would be unacceptable from established automotive brands. The company's customer service infrastructure in new markets is often inadequate, leaving buyers with limited recourse when problems arise. More concerning is BYD's approach to safety testing and regulatory compliance in different markets. While their vehicles meet basic safety requirements, independent testing has revealed concerning patterns in crash performance and component reliability that suggest cost-cutting measures that compromise long-term durability. BYD's business practices have also raised eyebrows, with reports of aggressive pricing strategies designed to undercut competitors regardless of long-term sustainability. This approach may benefit consumers in the short term, but raises questions about the company's commitment to maintaining quality standards and customer support over time. Vietnam's VinFast represents one of the most ambitious attempts by an emerging market manufacturer to establish themselves in the global EV market. However, their rapid expansion and aggressive marketing have been accompanied by significant quality and safety concerns that potential customers should carefully consider. Early VinFast vehicles exhibited numerous quality control issues, including electrical problems, software glitches, and mechanical failures that suggested insufficient testing and validation before launch. The company's customer service infrastructure has been overwhelmed by the volume of warranty claims and complaints from early adopters. More troubling has been VinFast's response to criticism and negative reviews. The company has been accused of attempting to suppress unfavorable coverage and has shown little transparency about addressing fundamental product issues. This approach raises concerns about the company's long-term commitment to customer satisfaction and continuous improvement. VinFast's financial structure and business model also present risks for potential customers. The company's rapid global expansion has been funded largely by debt and government support, creating questions about long-term sustainability and warranty support if market conditions change. Based on these examples, several warning signs should immediately concern any potential EV buyer. Unrealistic timeline promises. Companies that promise revolutionary vehicles in impossibly short timeframes are usually setting themselves up for failure. Automotive development is a complex, time-consuming process that cannot be rushed without compromising quality and safety. Overemphasis on marketing. Over-engineering. When a company spends more time and resources on promotional events and social media campaigns than on actual product development and testing, it's often a sign of misplaced priorities. Lack of manufacturing experience. Starting an automotive company requires deep understanding of manufacturing processes, supply chain management, and quality control. Companies led by executives without this experience face enormous challenges. Dependence on unproven technologies. While innovation is important, companies that base their entire value proposition on breakthrough technologies that haven't been validated in real-world conditions are taking enormous risks with customer money. Poor financial transparency. Companies that are secretive about their cash burn rates, funding sources, or path to profitability often have good reason to hide these details from potential customers and investors. Inadequate customer service infrastructure. A company's approach to customer service and warranty support often reveals their true priorities and long-term viability. These failures represent more than just individual company problems. They reflect systemic issues in how the EV market has developed and been regulated. The combination of massive investor interest, government incentives, and consumer enthusiasm has created an environment where style and promises often matter more than substance and execution. For consumers, this means that buying an EV, particularly from a newer manufacturer, requires much more due diligence than purchasing a traditional vehicle. The consequences of choosing poorly can be severe, including vehicles that become undrivable due to software issues, warranty support that disappears overnight, and resale values that collapse when companies fail. The regulatory environment has also struggled to keep pace with the rapid evolution of the EV market. Traditional automotive safety and quality standards were developed for established manufacturers with proven track records, not startups with revolutionary claims and uncertain funding. Despite these concerns, the electric vehicle revolution continues to offer genuine benefits and innovations. However, consumers need to approach EV purchases with eyes wide open to the risks and realities of this rapidly evolving market. Established manufacturers transitioning to electric vehicles generally offer more stability and proven customer service capabilities, even if their products may be less revolutionary than startup offerings. Companies like Tesla, despite their own controversies, have demonstrated the ability to scale production and maintain long-term customer support. When considering any EV purchase, potential buyers should thoroughly research not just the vehicle specifications, but the company's financial stability, manufacturing track record, and customer service reputation. Independent reviews and long-term ownership reports are more valuable than promotional materials and press releases. The most important advice for any potential EV buyer is to remain skeptical of claims that seem too good to be true. The physics of automotive engineering and manufacturing haven't changed just because the powertrain is electric. Companies that promise to revolutionize transportation overnight are usually setting themselves up for spectacular failure. The electric vehicle revolution is real and inevitable, but it's also fraught with pitfalls for unwary consumers. The companies we've discussed today represent billions of dollars in wasted investment and thousands of disappointed customers who believed in promises that were never realistic. However, these failures also serve an important purpose. They separate serious manufacturers from promotional companies, sustainable business models from unsustainable hype, and genuine innovation from marketing gimmicks. The EV market is maturing, and companies that cannot deliver on their promises are being exposed and eliminated. For consumers, the lesson is clear. Approach EV purchases with the same skepticism and due diligence you would apply to any major financial decision. Don't be swayed by revolutionary promises or fear of missing out. The future of transportation is electric, but that future will be built by companies that understand the realities of automotive engineering and manufacturing, not by those who think good presentations can substitute for good products. The companies that survive and thrive in the electric vehicle market will be those that prioritize customer satisfaction, engineering excellence, and financial sustainability over marketing hype and stock promotion. By learning from the failures we've discussed today, consumers can make smarter choices and avoid becoming casualties in the ongoing electric vehicle revolution. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid electric vehicles entirely. It's to avoid the companies that treat customers as beta testers for half-baked products and business models. The electric future is bright, but only for those who choose their path wisely. If this deep dive into the darker side of the EV revolution has been valuable to you, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button for Car Curator. We're committed to bringing you the unvarnished truth about the automotive industry, whether it's exposing companies that put profits over customers or highlighting the innovations that are genuinely changing how we drive. Your subscription helps us continue investigating the stories that matter most to car buyers and automotive enthusiasts. Subscribe now and let's navigate the future of transportation together, with our eyes wide open to both the opportunities and the pitfalls ahead.